I've finally gotten pregnant after being told I may never have children, but my husband has impregnated someone else too. My husband, 42M, and I, 26F, got married 3 years ago. When I was a teenager, I was told that due to medical complications, I may never be able to have children. However, after 2 years of trying infertility treatments, I'm now halfway through my pregnancy with our miracle baby. Unfortunately, due to some complications, I had to cut back on my hours at work. It's very physically demanding. My husband offered to pick up more hours to compensate, so he has been working a lot more in the past 2 months and coming home later. I couldn't see that anything was amiss. Things were the same as they've always been. He always brings home flowers, food, things for the baby, coffee, and he's always sending me thoughtful and loving texts through the day. The gaps where he was unreachable were explainable. But this morning, he sat me down and gave me news that rocked me. He told me he's been having an affair for the past 6 weeks, and that his affair partner just found out that she's pregnant. He says that if she decides to keep the baby, she's going to raise it by herself, and that they mutually agreed to end the relationship already. Now, he wants to make things right. I don't know how things can ever be right again. He just wants to move on from what he is calling his transgression. How do I ever forgive him? How do you deal with the unthinkable? How do I learn to live with the idea that my child's sibling might be out there somewhere someday? Most importantly, how do I learn to move on like he wants me to? Edit: I have an obstetrician appointment for unrelated medical reasons tomorrow, during which I will make sure to request extensive testing. I have plans to meet with a lawyer on Monday. I'm talking to my sister to see if I can stay with her. My relationships with much of my family are fractious, but I have a pretty positive relationship with her. I will not be seeking other options other than having my baby due to being pretty far along and having been told in the past I would not conceive. Regardless of what my husband has done, I love my child. Edit 2, I saw my obstetrician on Friday and will hopefully have some test results within the next few days, fingers crossed for all negative. I will meet the lawyer tomorrow and go from there. My sister advised me to stay in the house that my husband and I co-own until I talk to a lawyer. This has been such an emotionally harrowing time for me. He's acting like everything is normal. All I want to do is sleep. I keep telling myself it'll be over soon. Update 1. Where to begin? First off, the affair partner decided to terminate her pregnancy, which was confirmed to me by her. Talking to her was really weird and didn't answer a lot of questions that I had for her. This is a person who knows me and has met me a number of times, and I just don't get it. The motivations on both sides don't make any sense to me, and I don't know if they ever will. It helped to learn there was no romantic feelings, but it was still confusing, especially since I perceived my husband and I to have a healthy bedroom life, as often as 4 to 6 times per week, and I don't really get what's fun or exciting about leaving the boundaries of your marriage. We are in therapy, separately and together. Going separately is helping me to sort out a lot of my own feelings, but I think that going together is essential one way or another as well. He has been cooperative and participatory in therapy. I'm hopeful that we can at least figure some things out. We've had a lot of conversations about why it won't be easy for me to just forgive this and why I need answers and changes in behavior, and I do feel like I've been heard. Divorce is not completely off the table, but it's a hard situation to be in, especially in a vulnerable state like being pregnant. I've consulted with a lawyer and made my parameters clear to him, but right now I want to try to work things out. I know this isn't the update that a lot of people probably hoped for, but for me I think this is the right choice. Edit: I want to make it clear since people seem confused, divorce is not off the table. What is off the table right now is trying to make a decision that will affect my life greatly when I'm already in an extremely vulnerable position, both physically and mentally. Even if we end up divorced in the end, allowing myself time means that things have a higher chance of being amicable and easier for all of us, especially our child. Update 2. 6 months ago, my life was the best it has ever been. My husband and I had just found out that we were pregnant after IVF, and our relationship seemed happy and strong as it ever has. Just absolutely on top of the world. I found out he'd had an affair in mid-October where his affair partner had gotten pregnant as well. The affair partner terminated the pregnancy, and I was prepared to work through things with him, even just to end up divorcing amicably. Then I found out that shortly before we got married, he'd had another affair that I had never found out about previously. I was devastated beyond devastation. He said some things to me that I will never forget or be able to forgive. I went into preterm labor at 26 weeks, which they were able to stop, but after 4 weeks I'm still having a lot of complications, and I may have to deliver the baby early. My husband has been nasty and uncooperative since we fought. He hasn't come to see me in the hospital even once in 4 weeks. My life was incredible before all of this, before I knew about all of this. I wish I could go back to that. Update 3. I think I'm finally getting better. I'm still sad and I still hurt. There are things that will take a really long time to get over. But in the time I've spent away from him, I've come to value my freedom and myself as a person. He didn't come to see me in the hospital even once. He hasn't come to see our baby even once. We had a big fight shortly before I went into the hospital, over his infidelity, and if he didn't want to see me, that's his business, but not coming to see the baby we fought so hard for is something else entirely. In retrospect, there were signs. After we had the giant fight about the second affair, which is technically the first affair, it was like something snapped. He said things to me I don't want to repeat, and I could never forgive as long as I live. And when I didn't fold, he decided to punish me with this silent treatment or whatever this is. I lived out our entire marriage as an exceptionally passive person. Gentle, endlessly forgiving and go with the flow. When I started to stand up for myself, the cracks started to show. But there were never problems before because I never made problems. But it was a sign for me that I can do this. I can do better for my daughter and for myself. I have a lawyer now and I'm moving forward with divorce proceedings. I know I will be okay, I don't have to rely on him for anything. I'm sad about how all of this happened. I wish it didn't happen. But I also know now that I can have a whole life beyond this. Also, our baby was born a little more than 6 weeks early and is 10 days old now. She is still in the NICU, just getting a little bit stronger, but she's doing amazing and should be home by the end of this month. I can't wait to really start enjoying motherhood.